Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talk about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right. So the offseason had a couple of question marks, okay? And a lot of them were on defense. One of the big question marks on defense is how is the health going to be of prized 2024 free agent signing Christian Wilkins? Now, he was dominant when he was playing. Unfortunately, he got injured and didn't really play the rest of the season. Now, one of the things that we were looking at is, okay, the defensive interior, it wasn't deep, okay? It had a few holes here and there because of injury, but we didn't know if Christian Wilkins was going to be back. And even now, he hasn't fully been back yet, but as of right now, he's not. So it was a big priority to sign your kind of breakout guy on the interior of the defensive line, Adam Butler, which is what we did. Great get to get him back into the fold because he's a guy that I think can sneakily become one of the better guys in this defensive line because the attention paid to other players. Even though we have two rookies signed for the defensive line, these are guys that can play inside and outside. Adam Butler is strictly a defensive interior guy, but he can make a lot of pressure from that spot, which is a big thing on this defensive line. He's huge, he's quick, he plays with a lot of energy, and he's a great teammate. His guys love him. One of the things that we're taking a look at on the defensive line here is we need to have more depth. And we showed last season that we were lacking a little bit of depth at certain spots. Now, some guys came up and flourished, like the Chase-Ons who ended up going somewhere else. But you got the Snowdens and the Jonas and like Adam Butler got a lot more snaps and was able to show what he can do. These are guys that you want to have stacked. You want to have stacked this talent up because just because they're backups doesn't mean they're bad players. They could be young players. They could be guys who played certain roles. But Adam Butler showed he's definitely going to be a starter or a heavy contributor on the defensive line for us. We're going to take a look at his pressure. But before we do, I want to make sure everyone please like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do. And it's the bare minimum you do support the channel besides doing absolutely nothing, just watching the video, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Let's get to it. I love that logo, man. Always love it.
Here. A lot of guys, just kind of hedge their bet. You were vocal from the beginning. I want to be back. That's where I want to be. How happy are you to have that come true?
Yeah. I'm ecstatic, man. I just appreciate the organization for seeing my work. Appreciate you for seeing my work. And yeah, here I am, and I'm gonna try to repeat and be better than I was last year.
For you, obviously Christian hasn't been able to practice. How have you kind of stepped into a larger role in that defensive tackle group and help lead the group so far?
I mean, it's always been, next man up mentality. I pray that he heals and whatever he's battling, I praise that he gets through it. He's a tough guy. He's a great player. We all go through it, but like I said, it's next man up, and we're just gonna keep working.
How did you feel, in doing some self-evaluation after the season? How did you feel your season went? From the outside, looked pretty good. Did you feel that same way?
Yeah, I felt I had a phenomenal season. I think, of course, it could have been better in a lot of different ways, and that's one of my goals this year is just to eliminate the close calls. There's so many other opportunities when you really break down the tape where maybe I was this close to making a play, or maybe I didn't quite finish, and I'm trying to just eliminate that from my game and just focus on the little details.
I guess, how do you do that? How do you do that extra 0.5% or extra 1%, whatever it is, to get there?
Well, I mean, truthfully, it comes from experience and knowing yourself, right? Knowing your weaknesses and just trying to strengthen them.
Tonka and Tank, two rookies that you've been mentoring. Will you talk about just your thoughts early? And I know there's no pads, but just your thoughts early on the rooks.
Yeah, I think they work hard. I don't sense that, some guys come in and you can tell if it really matters to them or not. It really matters to these guys. Kind of too much sometimes, you want them to loosen up. I try to tell them loosen up, but they're all like, the whole time. And that's how you know that they really care, though, and they're intentional about their work. So I'm pleased with them and the way that they've come to work.
You've seen some good regimes already in your time in Las Vegas. What's different about this one?
I would just say the mindset, this is all about competition, and that just makes everybody better. I like what Coach Pete has done. Very pleased with him, but I expect nothing less. He's a legendary coach, and he came in and showed that.
What's this process been like so far for you and the rest of the staff?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
But just you in the room, the defensive tackle room, the defensive unit, how are you guys going through this process of learning with the new guys?
I don't know if I can answer that. It's very vague, so I don't think I can give you an answer.
You missed a couple of practices and OTAs. How important was it to you to be on the field for minicamp?
Oh man, it meant a lot. I mean, I went back home. My wife's pregnant. She needed help. Got to be a husband too. I'm not just a football player. Got to be a husband, father. She needed help. Went home to help her, but I'm glad to be back here and my child will be here in the next couple of days.
In terms of there still being consistency in the defensive side with Patrick Graham being retained as well as Rob Leonard, how does that kind of help you through the other changes that have happened with the coach?
You know what? It eliminates the anxiety of, having a new staff and having to relearn their ways of coaching, their ways of doing things and having to adjust. Different coaches teach different things, but now that I have them back, I know them, I know what they expect, and I know I can deliver on what they expect from me. So,
obviously right now, during this period of time, there's no pads, which is kind of hard for the offensive and defensive line to really evaluate what they're doing. But what do you think right now the defensive line focus on the most in terms of trying to get better at while you're not in pads?
I really think it's just understanding the different elements of being a pro, right? Like just taking your game to that next level and not just being a surface football player, right? Like try to figure out what the other side wants to do and how can we counteract that from a mental perspective, right? Like if we know they have tendencies to do X, Y, and Z, right? Can we train ourselves in a way that we just instinctively do it and counter it and put ourselves in the best position?
It's a big year for Tyree. He's going to come speak to us a little bit. What have you seen out of him, just his development this offseason?
I'm pleased with his work ethic too. He's been trying some new things. I won't go into detail on that, but he's been trying some new things and really being intentional about his work as well. So I hope everything works out for him. As long as he keeps working, I believe he'll surprise you.
One more teammate to ask you about. You did some nice things next to Jonah towards the end of last season. What's the biggest thing for him going into year two? What have you seen out of him?
I would say the biggest thing is just confidence for him, and I think he's done a great job in this offseason program of establishing that, just showing that he is confident in his play. And just me looking at, from the time that he came in the building to now, I would definitely say, he holds his head up higher than he did as a rookie. I don't sense any nervousness. I sense somebody that's confident that they can play.
Adam, what have you thought of Gino early on in the offseason?
Impressive, man. Impressive. The guy really is about his craft. Every day he's got some amazing pass where I'm like, shit, it's crazy, I'm just excited to see him do it in the game.
I have to ask you on that Maxx Crosby interception, kind of near the end of practice, where were you on that and how cool was that to see? You talk about being instinctual and being mentally in the right place. How's that tie into that?
Yeah, I was right next to him, and you know what? Truthfully, we both knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. I don't know if you can pull up the tape, but we knew it was coming. And, how many times has he stopped the screen where he's batted it down or, tipped the ball or whatever on screen plays? He's got 100 million of those. And that's just what he does. I'm glad he finally caught one this time, and it was amazing to see that.
You've always said you wanted to stay with this organization despite coming off that losing season. What have you grown to love about the Raiders in this city?
I would say just I like the toughness of this organization. This has always been just that old school, tough organization, and I really like that style of football. That's all I know. I know the world is changing and going to other things, but that's why I like to be here.
All right, thanks, Adam.
All right.
Thank you.
This is a lot of good stuff coming from Adam Butler. Adam Butler is a guy who came in, not a lot of fanfare, kind of a backup depth guy, and continued to grow in his play throughout his time with us. And the thing that we want to focus on with him is his continued growth. I can see him being taken even a step further than what he did last season. Imagine him playing next to Christian Wilkins. These are two guys in the middle who are tough to block one-on-one. And you get two of those guys next to each other, yeah, it's going to be tough. Now, you talk about that. Okay, yeah, it's pressure on the quarterback, and it's tough to get running lanes and all this stuff, right? But think about what it does to the linebacking core. When you have a linebacking core that are running around and making plays, usually their feet are clean, right? They don't have a lot of mud on their feet. They don't have to like worry about guys trying to chip them and block them because they're getting eaten up by the defensive linemen up front. So these two guys, Christian Wilkins hopefully coming back healthy from his injury, and Adam Butler coming and taking another step forward this season, being one of the unquestioned starters on the defensive line, we're looking at a couple of guys next to each other who can really clog up that middle, but also make a lot of noise make a lot of noise in the backfield for opposing quarterbacks. There was a little bit of I don't know if it was a contention or a contentious moment with one of the reporters. He just told him, I can't answer your question because it's too vague. I kind of like that because you're putting the onus on others to be able to give you what you need, to be able to give them what they need in return. And if that spills onto the field, it really shows that, I want you guys to work hard, but I also want you guys play with a purpose and practice with a purpose. And it was kind of funny to me having Adam Butler talk about the rookies and how they're just so serious all the time. Like, man, this is a fun game. You can have fun too. And that's part of what Pete Carroll wants to bring to this team is, we're all about the work, but we can have fun while we work. And that's something that I think can spill over into the games as well. Is like, you go out there and you play and you know what you have to do and you work hard and you have your keys and you have your reads, but have fun playing the game while you're out there dominating. And I think that Adam Butler is a very important piece to this defense overall because this defensive line is going to be the engine that runs this defense. And being an integral part of that defensive line is Adam Butler in the middle, not only clogging up lanes, but putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do. And it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel besides doing absolutely nothing, just watching the video. You guys are killing it. Keep doing it, man. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share to your socials. Hit that notification button. That way you know every time I drop a new video or go live. And make sure to tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world's greatest and going to Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Until next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.